Hi everybody, it's Robert Earl out here at the Eco Ranch Sustainable Living Education Center in far west Texas. Minus Cascade the Wonder Dog because it's a little dangerous for Cascade or anybody, myself included, to be here right now. But I thought you'd want to see this and document it along with me what I'm doing because a lot of people ask, how did you build this place by yourself? And now I didn't do it alone. Debbie helped a lot. Debbie moved stuff, she held stuff, but she's only so strong and she is very afraid of heights. So there were a lot of things I had to redneck engineer. I guess I can still say redneck engineer. Anyway, there was a lot of stuff I had to redneck engineer to build the place. And one of those redneck engineering things is what I'm doing behind me now. Now we have a situation where our batteries are failing somewhat. This was to be expected. I know it was coming. Whether they're failing or whether I'm just simply have been unable to charge them fully for quite a while, we don't know. So I've been running on 2.5 batteries. I had 3 for a while, 2.5 because there was some damage that I won't get into that I got reimbursed for. So I essentially got 2 free batteries, but one of them failed. Now the other half of one has failed. So what I want to do is move the half of a forklift battery. Now I've got to move the whole battery, but I've only got 6 cells that are any good in this thing. So the other 6 are no good. So I've got to move this forklift battery all the way from here in my kitchen, all the way to the greenhouse, to the back of the greenhouse. Now I'm looking at it and maybe just under 200 feet it's got to go, or maybe right at 200 feet. But I have to move it without a piece of equipment. When I had the fellow here helping me with the skid steer, it was also the hottest week we had the entire year. It was 112, 114. And I had just found out that I do have this muscle problem. I was a bit depressed. He wanted to work, and I couldn't. And he got frustrated and he left. So the skid steer would have helped, but it wouldn't have helped what I'm doing right now. Now, I'll get a little closer to the battery in a second to show you. But what I have to do is I have to get the battery moved onto these 2x4s, and then I have to roll it on pipe, essentially roll it on pipe all the way to 200 feet. Going to take some time, and let me show you. There we go. Okay, you can kind of sort of see all 4 forklift batteries. The one in the rear, the one I'm pointing at, that's completely dead. It's a boat anchor. This one, 6 of the cells work just fine, and those 2 are just fine. Those are the only 2 I need to run this house anyway. So I'm going to take this one back and power the entire greenhouse off of this battery. But first I've got to move the battery. So it was locked and essentially corroded in place from sitting there for 8 years. I've got it loose and I'm moving it. You can see the pipes down here. You can see the chain around it hooking to the come-along. The come-along's locked into the 800-pound piece of limestone and the concrete in the ground. So what I'm doing right now is pulling the battery onto these pipes. Now if I can get it onto the pipes without dumping it, that's the if, then I'll just begin to roll it, and it'll just be a matter of figuring out how to roll it on the pipes. And you roll it a little bit, stick another pipe underneath, and so on. And I'll show you that as I go along. But I wanted to get you the idea of where I am when I'm starting. We get a little bit better view right here. There's all 4 batteries. And they have to all 4 be moved eventually, but right now I'm concerned about moving the one. So get it on the pipes and just start rolling it. Rolling, rolling, rolling. Keep rolling, rolling right onto, let me move here, right onto the flagstone patio. Across the flagstone patio into the brilliant sunlight of far west Texas, down that step, all the way past the smokehouse, which is behind the disc, to that corner you see where the brace is, and then over behind the greenhouse another 25 feet from where you stop being able to see. Piece of cake. So let me get going. I'll come back periodically as I'm moving it just so you can kind of see the progress. Well, here we are. It's a new day, and of course he thinks it's a new video, so he's getting ready to hug me. However, notice where the battery is as opposed to where it was. I've moved it about 25 feet yesterday. Now, I didn't film this. Probably should have, because I used my portable winch. It was a donation from one of our followers, Bill. Bill has not been around for a while. I believe Bill got disgusted at the slow progress, which was why I started the fundraiser, which is now ended. And we're moving fast now, so I hope Bill comes back because we're using his winch to move this. Now I moved it up onto the flagstones and all the way to the brick falling back here yesterday. I'm going to use it again today, so you'll get a chance to see it. But it's a game of inches, is all it is. It's a game of inches, and we're using leverage against the weight of the battery. There is a guy on YouTube. If someone, I'll try to research and look up his link to his things. But if someone knows right now who it is, if you will post a comment with the link, I'll be happy to include the link in my comments so everyone can go there. Because a lot of what I do, I mean, I've learned it on my own independently, but I have seen a couple of his videos on moving things that weigh a ton and more. This thing weighs 1,680 pounds, and I paced it off. I've got 63 steps to move it, roughly 190 feet left to move it. We're going to try to get it from where it is now to the end of the fence line today. Once I hit the end of the fence line, I can actually use the truck to move it. It's got to move slowly because, as you can see, I have rollers underneath here. I've got pieces of pipe that I move the thing on the pieces of pipe and on these 2x4s, and that's how I do it. I've got 2 sets of 2x4s. I'll get it on this set, then I'll move that set in front, and so on and so on. That's pretty much what this older fella, he's in his 80s, what he teaches in his videos. I think it's really cool, and I really hope we can look him up and find his videos. But that isn't helping me get this thing moved, so I'm going to start moving it right now. Actually, I'll leave this on for a moment or for a few minutes while so you can see me actually trying to move it. And just from here for the next 80 feet, 90 feet, it's going to be just what I'm going to show you in a minute. So I've got a piece of 4x4 and a little rock wedge to keep this from rolling even a slight downhill with all this weight. It'll start to continue to roll downhill, and going uphill, I don't even want to tell you how tough that is. But so that it doesn't roll out from under the pipes and then cause me a bunch of grief to get it back up on the pipes, I've got a 4x4 and a rock there. Now what I've used, again, another donation from someone, is this great big pry bar. At first when he brought it, I said to myself, what the hell am I going to use this thing for? Well, as it turns out, I just wedge it underneath and just roll. Notice it's inches. As I said, it's a matter of inches. Now when I get it close enough that I can actually use the electric winch, I'm going to hook the electric winch to my post that the DirecTV antenna is on. Now I'm hoping it doesn't actually move the post. If it does, then I'll have to call DirecTV to come out and re-aim the dish, because when you're on HD, which is the only service I can get here, a half an inch of movement, less than a half an inch of movement, and I lose my TV reception. So anyway, you saw how I moved it. I'm going to get to moving it. As soon as I get close enough where I can hook up the winch, we use the battery power left in this to power the winch. Now I've backed you up quite a bit. You're going to hear a lot of the noise from the geese because they're going to think I'm talking at them. But I backed you up quite a bit so you can get a look at the winch. This is a portable winch. It hooks onto the trailer ball in the rear of my truck. But I can use it for almost anything, including lifting things straight up, like, say, a 600-pound hog. I have to keep within the length of the power rope, or the power cord, unless I want to use a jumper cable. So I'm just at the edge of it now. So we're going to go ahead and give it a shot moving it. It's not really moving it any faster than what I could do by hand, but it's saving my muscles. Remember, I'm now dealing with a muscle issue that I have to make allowances for. I can't just work and say, God, I wonder why I'm so sore. I know now, and it's not the kind of thing where, well, I'm sore, but I'm building muscle. Those days are behind me. So anytime I can use something like this, I will. Let's give her a shot. right, it's off of the back roller, but as you can see, I think from your distance, you see how the rope is a little off center. I've got to try to move it a little bit more on center because it's pulling it this way. The biggest danger we have in moving this thing the whole way is because it's so top heavy, if it gets more than, say, a 10-degree slant to it, it's going to tip. And once it tips, it's game over for me because I can't take a 1,680-pound thing and straighten it up. Let's see what I can do here. All right, let's give it a shot again. I've got to pull it directly on those tracks. Again, this is a labor of love. That guy that's 83 years old or whatever his age is, he's not doing it all in one big, I've got a levitation device. It's a game of inches just like this. I'm going off the track, so it's going to be a matter of me straightening the track up and pulling and straightening the track up. You don't need to see that, so when I get to the end of the fence line, we'll pick this up again. Hi, well, it's late afternoon the next day. I had intended on showing you a little bit more about. Hey, as I was finishing this, one thing I was going to add was that because I wasn't able to move to show you all parts of the move, I wasn't even going to finish this video, but maybe you can get something from it, maybe not. So that's the reason why I went ahead and finished it. So I hope you enjoy it. The actual move, but this thing turned into the most difficult project that I have done in the 9.5 years we've been here. Now, part of it might be that I've got problems with my legs. Who knows? Part of it might be that I'm getting old, but it was absolutely horrible. We worked, from the last time I had this on, we worked another 9 hours, Debbie and I, moving this battery. We part of the way through, right after I turned the video off, an hour or so later, the winch decided to die. It just died, burned the motor up, I guess. It was a great winch while it lasted, so I was able to bring 300K over behind me this way, all the way up to the smokehouse, and I was able to both use the truck and the come-along both to pull it along on the rails, throwing the pipe underneath, and picking this bar up and prying either the front end or the back end over as they needed to be pried. This thing weighs about 40 pounds. And you can imagine 9 hours of that. And we don't know exactly what the temperature was yesterday because our weather station's gone out. But it was hot, and the bottom line was I worked so hard I didn't realize it and threw myself right into heat exhaustion and right on the edge of heat stroke. So we had to stop, lay down. I had to lay down. I laid down 6 o'clock in the afternoon. Did not get up until 7 o'clock this morning, just in case, and I feel a lot better. But you can probably see in here, I'm not 100% yet. I'm still recovering. What happened was I simply sweated so much I couldn't get enough water and salt, electrolytes, back into my body. Even though I was taking potassium and salty water with some salt in it, it didn't help. So anyway, it's moved. I can't move it over right now. I'm too tired. It can sit here, but it just has to move about 18 inches over. The battery's here, and the whole reason for the battery move was we wanted to take the greenhouse off of the main power system because the main power system, we've been having some issues with it. A lot of it has to do with that this battery, although this battery is still good, it's the weakest of the ones we have. So to take it out of line lets the other two get to their full capacity. This one doesn't have a lot of strain on it. Now, what we've done is moved it over, finally. I don't want to do that again. I've got the solar panels all combined. This This is a combiner. Now we're expecting rain, as you can probably see. Underneath here, protected for the moment until I'm able to build a cover for it, is the charge controller and the power inverter. I have a 2,000 watt power inverter. That's all we need to power the pumps and the lights in the back of the in the ag area, the whole ag area, the chickens, the poultry yard, and the greenhouse. So that's all done. This is moved. I'm not doing that again. It was a pain in the neck. Trust me, it was horrible, but we got it done, and it's dinner time. So I better let you guys go. Thank you for watching, and until next time, it's Robert Earl at the Eco Ranch Sustainable Living Educational Center in Far West Texas saying, see you later.